Welcome to the online guide for the new ITD service request form. This form will be available to all ministry employees so that they may make a service request at any time. You may realize that this service request form looks different from the old Excel version. This is because it has been updated to include all relevant information. Once completed, this form is uploaded to CRM, ensuring that the proper branch coordinators and SLC review it. This in turn ensures that your request will reach ITD faster for completion. For this guide, we'll be taking a look at every single field in the form and discussing them so that you can better fill out your service request form. To begin, we'll take a look at the date requested. The date populated here is the date that I had originally opened this form up. Now, if the day I send in my request is not the same as the day I opened the form up, I can go ahead and press this calendar button and change the date to whatever day I actually submitted. If you do not change the day you actually submit, it will always remain the date that you originally opened the form up on. Next up is date required, or the day you would like your request fulfilled. So if you have an employee starting July 23rd, you might want to set your date required for July 22nd so that ITD knows that you would like your request fulfilled by then. If you set your date required as one day after or the same day as your date requested, it will not give your request priority over any existing requests. This is because all service requests are assessed individually. Please remember that not all service requests take the same amount of time, so be reasonable when selecting a date required. Next up, we have the type of request. So we'll go ahead and press this drop down. We have new account, which should be used if you have a new employee starting soon. Delete account, which should be used when an employee has left or no longer works for you. Change account. If you have an existing user account but would like new permissions added to it, this is the option you would select. Hardware request. If you require a new mouse, keyboard, monitor, or even laptop, this is the request you would select. Software request. If you would like an upgrade of existing software, removal of software, or any new software, you would go ahead and pick this option. Finally, we have Other. If your request is not encompassed by the above options, you can go ahead and press Other. But when you do so, please make sure to scroll down to the bottom of the form and fill in as much additional information as possible. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'll be going ahead and doing a software request. Next is the branch coordinator field. When we press the drop down, we'll see a bunch of names and branches associated with those individuals. So you can go ahead and locate your branch and click any individual associated with that branch. The next section is requested by. In this section, you'll notice that only the name and phone number are required fields. However, it's in your best interest to fill in the ministry/branch as well. So I'll go ahead and put in some basic information for this section. You'll notice that my phone number field is highlighted red, letting me know that it's incorrect currently. Even though this is a valid phone number, the format required for this field is 3 digits, a dash, 3 more digits, another dash, and then the remaining 4 digits. Next up is ministry/branch. There is a certain naming convention that you must follow when filling out this field. To see what that naming convention is, please go to the Requested For section and press the drop-down menu in the ministry/branch field. This will show you all the different naming conventions used in service request forms. Now, I'm with the RBR and code branch, so I'll go ahead and locate that and notice that this is the naming convention I need to use in the above section. So I'll go ahead and type that in. After the requested by field is a requested for field. As you'll notice, only the name is a required field. However, let's say for instance that you have put in a hardware request. However, you fail to mention what your address is or the floor you work on for your building. ITD will have no way of providing that hardware to you without that information. So for your request to be properly fulfilled, you need to make sure that all these fields are filled out to the best of your capabilities. So I'll go ahead and fill in all the fields I think are required for my software request. Once again, for ministry/branch, there is a naming convention. However, for this one, you can just select from the drop-down. The address is the building you currently work at or the location you would like the change made at. Your phone number would be your office phone number. And remember, the format for it is 3 digits, a dash, 3 more digits, another dash, and the last 4 digits. The floor will correspond to whatever floor you work on, and the city with whatever city you work in. The next section is user accounts, and we'll see that we have 2 radio buttons to select from. Enable printer, which if we select this, we need to make sure to put in the printer GOS tag number, otherwise the account will not get printer access. Next is enable remote access from home. There are 2 codes that you need to be aware of when selecting this option. You need to make sure in the additional information section you either write OWA for mobile email access or VPN for laptop access. After the user account section is user permissions, where you can select things such as custom applications, email distribution list, or network directories. If you would like to attach a file for any one of these options, you can go ahead and press the click attach file here and go ahead and select whatever you would like to insert as a document. You can only attach 1 document per permission, so if you have any extra details you would like to provide, please do so in this section provided here. I'm going to go ahead and delete this file because I'm going to be making a software request instead of user permissions. You can do that by clicking this paperclip and pressing remove. For the new hardware section, you have all of these options available to you. However, if the hardware you requested is not included in this, you can go ahead and press other hardware and just include the vendor, make, and model in the hardware details section. As a side note, if you want a new laptop, this does not automatically mean that you will also receive a monitor, mouse, or keyboard. You need to go ahead and individually select those 3 as well, otherwise you will not receive them. For the smartphone section, the only required field is phone type, and the phones you can pick from are iPhone, Samsung Galaxy, or BlackBerry. Even though this is the only required field, it might be in your best interest to provide a model number, a phone size, or even a phone number as well. For the asset transfer and return section, you can go ahead and return your equipment to ITD or transfer it to another user. When returning or transferring equipment, you need to make sure to include the tag numbers associated with each piece of equipment. Finally, we have the software section, and we can select new software, upgrade of existing software, or the removal of software. For this demonstration, I'll be requesting new software, and I'll be requesting the Adobe Video Editor. In the version field, we can go ahead and type in what version we would like. For a software request to be properly fulfilled, we need to include our computer's GOS tag number as well. We can do so by filling out this computer tag number in the asset transfer and return section. So I'll go ahead and do that. If I would like to request more than 1 piece of software in one form, I can go ahead and press this additional software products arrow, which will populate a new field for me to fill in as well. So I can request 3 different types of new software at once if I wanted to. Since I'm not, I'm going to go ahead and delete this field, and you can do so by clicking this blue arrow and pressing cut. Once again, if you are requesting remote access from home, make sure to type in OWA for mobile email access and VPN for laptop access. Since I'm not requesting that, I'll go ahead and leave the additional information field blank. If at any point you would like to save this form and continue it at another date, you can go ahead and press File, Save, and save the form and continue at another date. So I'm just going to double check that I have filled out all the required information so my software request gets completed properly. As you can see, I have filled in all the fields that I thought were relevant to my software request. Remember, for the requested for section, I filled in as much information as possible to better help ITD in fulfilling my request. So since the form has been properly completed, I can go ahead and press submit at the bottom where it says complete form. Once I do that, it'll give me this pop-up that lets me know that an email is being sent to SLC, letting them know that there was a service request made by me. So I'll go ahead and press send. And that's it for the video on completing your service request form. If you have any further questions, feel free to ask your branch coordinators or your manager.